Hello everyone and welcome back to Love English. It's been a while. We've been rather busy on Love English. We've been having children, moving houses, moving country. It's all been a bit manic, so we do apologise for the gap that it's been quite a while since we last uploaded. But it is fantastic to see you all now, and we've got a great lesson today all about essential business English vocabulary. Now, whether you work in English or not, this will still be a really good refresher for you of all those kind of key words which come up in any kind of business context. Let's get started. So, number one is competitive analysis or competitor analysis. Now, this is something which is essential for companies to conduct. And basically, it is studying your competition, working out their strengths and weaknesses, and of course, comparing yourself to them. This in order to identify opportunities or threats in the market. Let's have a look at an example sentence. We will conduct a competitive analysis to assess the market landscape in order to identify opportunities and threats. Number two is corporate strategy. Corporate strategy. A very important thing. Basically, the corporate strategy is the overall goals and objectives of the company. Basically, in terms of the direction it wants to go in, the kind of things it wants to achieve. It's their long-term plan, and these goals are likely to be very big, but also quite specific. So you wouldn't have one of the corporate strategy goals to be growth. It would have to identify in which areas it wants to grow. So although it's big, it's also specific. Let's have a look at an example sentence. The corporate strategy of the company is to focus on growing our international presence through investment in new markets and joint ventures. Number three is merger. And this is the combination of one or two companies into a single entity. This is because they may be failing, or it could be that they'll be stronger together from the point of view of joint and shared skills and resources. There's lots of reasons why companies decide to perform a merger. The merger between the two companies is expected to create much more synergy and much more ease in the supply chain management. Number four, talent management. Talent management. And this is basically the department which manages and tries to acquire new talent, keeping good staff, looking for good staff, and also developing good staff. The talent meaning the employees that are working there. So these are considered to be highly skilled people who they want to attract, develop, but also keep employed there. Talent management is our top priority in the business. We believe that investing in good employees leads to long-term success. The next one is joint venture, a joint venture. And this is where two companies join together on a particular project. It might be that one company wants to sell their product in another country but doesn't know how to do it, so they join forces with a similar company in that country in order to understand how they can sell their products in that company. And of course, there will be mutual benefits for both companies. It's important to point out that this is not the same as a merger. It's not two companies becoming one entity or one company. This is where two companies decide to work together on some sort of business activity, usually a business project. So for example, BMW formed a joint venture with Brilliance Auto Group in China, and that was to sell BMW cars in China, and that was in 2003. So they decided to work together to have a joint venture in order to break into that new market. Number six is restructuring. Restructuring. And this is where we are changing the structure of an organization in order to improve operations, processes, and you may sometimes hear the word streamlining. And streamlining means making things easier, making sure there's easier processes, making things much more simple. Sometimes this can mean job losses. Sometimes this can mean that companies are restructuring and they are going to get rid of certain roles using, for example, AI much more. There could be reasons for that, but basically it is changing the structure of the company, usually in quite a major way. The restructuring of the company's management team is intended to streamline processes and improve profitability. Number 7, outsourcing. Outsourcing. And this is where a company will ask other companies outside of their own company to do certain tasks for them. So this could be manufacturing, it could be professional services like legal services or accountancy, it could be marketing. There are many things that companies can think, okay, we don't have the facilities or the skills here to do this, so we'll ask another company to do this for us. It could be that, for example, it's much quicker or labour costs are cheaper to hire a company somewhere else to outsource that particular thing. Here's an example sentence. In an effort to improve efficiency and reduce costs, the company has decided to outsource its customer service department. Number 8, supply chain management. Supply chain management. So basically, this is the supply chain, meaning the goods that are used to make something or create a service that ultimately you need to get those original things to create the end product. With things like clothing, you would have the raw materials at the beginning coming from countries which produce those, and then of course that could go into another country after that for the clothing to be made, but then finally end up in countries like England and America. So the supply chain can be quite long sometimes with some products. Companies will hire people to make sure that the supply chain management is efficient, is working well, again, processes are streamlined, everything like that. An example sentence would be, supply chain management is critical for the success of our business because it ensures that raw materials are sourced efficiently and that products get to our customers on time. The next one is business development, crucial for every company. So you will often have an appointed business development person or a business development team. And this is basically the process of identifying and pursuing new opportunities for growth and expansion. An example sentence would be, the business development team is currently researching how to branch out into new areas of the market. Branch out meaning to go into connected areas of the market. So not that different to what you're doing, but still different. For example, if you're a women's clothing company, you may decide that you want to branch out into making children's clothing. Or if you're an English language company, you might decide you want to branch out into providing other language learning services. So it's basically where you still stay on your original business theme, but you can move into new areas connected to that. Number 10, assets. Assets are something that the company owns which give value to it. It could be its factory, its equipment, its profit, its intellectual property, so the knowledge that it owns or has acquired. Anything like that will be the company's assets. An example sentence would be, the company's assets are currently estimated to be worth 3 million. The next one is liability. And these are the things that the company owes. They are liable for those, meaning legally responsible for those debts. So usually these are debts, obligations, unpaid invoices, that kind of things. Number 12 is equity. Now, the equity a company has is the total of its assets, so the value that it has, minus its liability, so minus the debts that it has. That is the equity that a company has. Company X are currently worried that it is going to go into negative equity once it pays off its liabilities. Number 13, this is an important one. Customer retention. Customer retention. Basically, customer retention is the whole process involved in keeping customers, in keeping them coming back. So every shop wants you to come back again. That's why they want your email address. That's why they want to text you. It's also related to the term brand loyalty, that you're loyal to a particular brand. You keep coming back to buy that brand again. Customer retention is a key focus for the company because it is much more cost effective to keep current customers than constantly having to try and acquire new ones. Number 14, this is something very important that all companies have to do, innovation, coming from the verb to innovate, which means to create new things, to explore new areas, to do things differently, to move forward. Very similar to creativity, ingenuity, all of that. These new ideas, products, or processes will ultimately, of course, add value to the company's business. Innovation has always been a key driver of our company's success. and we encourage our employees to come up with new ideas and think creatively. The last one is synergy. Synergy. And this basically means that when two things are brought together, they work better together than when they were working in individual ways. So companies often want to have synergy in certain processes. They might want to make sure that some different departments have synergy between them, so they work together and therefore they will work better together. So for example, often mergers, like we were talking about earlier, are performed in order to create more synergy, more teams, more different aspects working together in order to provide a better process or a better product. The merger will allow the manufacturing company to create synergies that will allow it to streamline its processes and remain competitive. Okay everyone, we've come to the end of this video, but do try and use any of those in a sentence below. Also feel free to drop us a line. We will be uploading more content in 2023, so do tell us what you would like. We'll see you soon on Love English. Bye bye.